All right, we are going to get started here in just a moment. Let me go ahead and turn on my live feed here. All right, we're ready to rock and roll. Well, thank you so much for joining, Sophia, and excited to bring some great information to everybody tonight. This is another What's Next Wednesday, and as most of you know, on Wednesdays, we've carved out some time in our day to really look at what's next. What are we going to be doing next? And we bring lots of tips and tricks from individuals that are entrepreneurs, who are health enthusiasts, who bring information that would help the masses. And so today, I'm very privileged to have Sophia Johnson join us. She comes to us from a direct sales company, and I'm going to let Sophia tell you a little bit about herself, and then we're going to jump into an interview. But before we do that, if you have any questions at all throughout the presentation, jot those down in the chat box, and we'll get to those. If you're watching live on Facebook, go ahead and send those in as well. If we don't get to those questions during the presentation, we'll be sure and email those out or post those on the Facebook group. So Sophia, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Sophia Johnson and I'm a pure romance consultant. You'll get to know me a little more through the interview, so I will come to you very professional at first, and I will say, as a pure romance consultant, I provide self-care and sexual education via private consultations or socials in a fun and safe environment to help you build a better relationship with yourself or others. AKA, I'm your favorite party girl, and I teach you all of the health and wellness stuff that you're gonna love.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Sophia. I know the first time that I met you, Sophia, we were at a networking event. What I really loved about you is that you own your story and you tell it in such a way that it just draws everybody in. And I didn't know then how successful you were, but I knew somewhere in the back of my mind that you had to be successful, because just the way you present your ideas and the way you share your story, it lets me know that you have a lot of passion about what you do. So I really admire that. One of the things that I've been talking to some of my clients this week, telling them a little bit about you and getting some excitement around your interview. And one of the things that has come up several times is the fact that you have been in this business for over 7 years. That's a long time. What has kept you going in that with this business? And tell us a little bit about that.
So when I first started this business, I was a teacher. I taught for almost 15 years, and this was kind of just something I did on the side. So my first few years in the business, I kept it, because sometimes you get a little side hustle, a little side gig, and it doesn't last. I enjoyed it. I loved the education that came with it. I love the socializing with women. I mean, sometimes as women, we just need to kind of get out with each other and have a little fun. And then, of course, it brought in great income, and I was able to grow with the business and learn. It wasn't until about my third year that I really started investing in this business. So these last 5 years have been absolutely amazing. It's been so much growth. It's been so much fun. And then not only do I get to have that for myself, but every party that I do, every consultation that I do, the women that I meet, the men that I meet, the people that I get to discuss this with, they always learn and grow from this as well. So it's just that kind of give to other people. I mean, like they say, if you're having fun, you're not working. And I haven't worked in 8 years.
Wow. And who wouldn't want to do that and have fun doing it and make some money and share with other people? But there's one thing though that comes up a lot, and that is fear. And you mentioned that for the first couple of years, it was just a hobby. When I work with businesses and small business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, mompreneurs, those people that are just getting started, or even those people that are thinking about getting started, one of the things that I hear time and time again, no matter where they are in their journey during that startup period, the first 3 years, basically they say we're petrified. We don't know what's going to happen next. We feel like we're at the mercy of what's going on economically. What if? Did you have those same fears? And if so, how did you address those?
So I love that you brought up mompreneur. That's a great term. When I started this business, I am currently a mother of teenagers. I have two teenage boys, but they were not teenagers when I started this. They were fairly young. And I'm a single mother, and I'm disabled, so I'm wheelchair bound most of the time. And that stops a lot of production for a lot of people. You know, they say, well, I can't do this. I'm a single mom, or, you know, I have this ailment, or I have this I have to do, or these bills, or, you know, whatever. And that's a valid fear. So when women come to me, like we have 30 girls on our team right now, and those girls are from every walk of life, every financial background, some married, some single, you know, and they come to me with different fears. So I don't just get the one thing, hey, we're afraid to start this business. I get every fear in the book.
Right.
And it's understanding what you want from this, the passion and effort you're willing to put into this. And then there's two key things: know your market and make yourself stand out. So if you have something that is great, I don't care if 50 other people are doing that same business. What is it that you can add to it to give value to other people and that will keep you in business? From day one, everyone has always said when they come to my parties, they love my energy and they love my knowledge. And as long as I keep that going, I'm going to make it another eight, another eight, another eight, another eight. I'm just going to keep
Absolutely.
going.
And and it's funny because you talk about your energy, and what I said in my introduction is that's the first thing that I picked up on with you was you were just electrifying, and that was really exciting for me, and people want to gravitate to that. I'm reminded also, I come from a small town in Oklahoma, and back in the day they had this commercial, and it was this crazy woman, and her name was Linda Soundtrack. And I'll never forget, she'd get on screen and she'd make these big, crazy antics, and everybody loved Linda Soundtrack. And they went to the soundtrack store to get all of their music needs met because she was memorable. And that's what she brought to the table. One of the things that I often think about is the fact that you do have to be true to yourself. And so you said something, you said, stand out and you bring energy. Do you think that it matters who the person is and what they bring to the table? Because I don't think I could be as energetic and as passionate as what you are, but I can bring something else to the table. What are your thoughts about that when you work with your team?
I like to remind them that everyone is different.
Yeah.
On our team, I am not the only one on there. So it's not like I am the leader and you do as I say. If someone needs help with, images, I will tell them to go to this girl. If someone needs tech support, go to her. Your strengths are yours. And if they are what you can master and what you can be great at, then do that. If it's something with your business and your customer service and you're like, oh, I can't sell. Well, neither can I. So I don't sell people. I give them the benefit of whatever it is. I tell them the story that relates to them, and I bring the energy that I have. So it doesn't matter what your strength is, what your gain is for that business. Someone out there will be attracted to that and will love that in you and will stick with your business because you bring them that genuine self. And you're not trying to be like you said, you don't have my energy. There's girls in our business who I watched them do their parties and I'm like, God, they're so funny.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
not funny like that. So
Mhm.
stick with what's best for you and just rock that. Because when you're genuine, that's what's going to shine through.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and the other thing you said when you were talking just then, you were talking about a story. And I know that when we've met in the past, one of the things that you've shared with me is that you do tell stories, but you make it apply to the audience. And you mentioned early on also know your audience, know who you're meeting with. Do you think that plays into your success? And if so, how much?
100%. 100%. If I take the time to get to know you and I pay attention to you and I understand what's going on in your life, when I come to you with a product or an idea, I'm not coming to you selling. I'm not coming to you forcing something, and I'm not faking. I know this will genuinely benefit you because of whatever you've told me. And when I talk to you about it, let's say I'm selling you these glasses. I'm not going to say, you need these glasses. They're the best glasses on earth. No, I'm going to say, oh my God, like I love the way the brown flecks in here are going to bring out the green in your eyes. You were talking so much about how you didn't want something that was going to cover, I can figure out whatever is best for you, so that when you look at these glasses and you purchase them from me, you're not just thinking, oh, I bought glasses from Sophia. No, you're going to love these glasses every time you put them on. You're going to feel that confidence and that sexiness that I talked about. You're going to be like, the green really does compliment me.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who it is and what it is. It's just taking that time to connect with people, to be genuine with them, and then not sell them.
Right.
We as women are very intuitive, and we don't want to be sold to.
Right.
We want someone to give us something for the benefit of ourselves. And it's not storytelling in the way of lying. It's storytelling in the way of getting you to think about it in a way that benefits yourself. And that's how everything should be sold, as opposed to forceful selling.
Absolutely. Well, and, I'm reminded, I don't know where I heard this story, but it's interesting because I just heard it this past week. And it was a study that was conducted, and they had all these individuals get on an airplane, and they would sit next to someone, and throughout the entire plane ride they would ask the person sitting next to them questions about themselves, but they never exposed anything about themselves. They just said, what do you do for a living? Tell me about your family. Are you on vacation or business, etc. And at the end of the plane ride, the people would go up and they would ask the passenger that had been asked all of the questions, what did you think of your seatmate? And they would always say, that was the most interesting person that I've ever met. But yet they didn't know anything about that person. And so there was this bond that was created when you're interested in someone else. So I have to think that maybe your interest in that other individual when you're selling a product really does go a long way. But do you ever for me, I get really passionate. So if I love something, I want to tell the world about it. If I think it's great, when I'm doing my financial coaching, I will talk to people about, I've got this great system. Let me tell you how I made, worked my way up to $10,000 a month, whatever the case may be. But I really want to share it. And sometimes people take that as a sales technique. So I have to be careful. What would you say about that? Do you have any of that where you have to pull your passion back in?
So I am queen of overexcited.
Yeah.
Even when I taught, when we got to certain parts or certain books or certain subjects, my students would be like, calm down, it's okay. Like
it's not all right, relax.
But I would be like, oh my God, we're studying about the digestive system this week. And they would be like, it's really not that serious. So I find that when I am that way around people, it excites them.
Sure.
It doesn't really make them feel like, oh, she's selling to me now. Now, if I was fake with it and I sounded robotic, then yeah. So like in the beginning, when I was doing my introduction, I said, okay, I have to be a little professional now. If I introduced myself to you that same way every time I met you, hi, I'm your pure romance consultant. I do blankety blank, blank, blank. You would be like, oh, it's a pitch.
Yeah.
But normally when I approach you and someone says like, what do you do? I'm like, oh my God, I'm a pure romance consultant. I've been that for 8 years. It's absolutely amazing. So I let you learn how to love yourself, because you do know that sex care is self-care, right? And then they're like, oh my God, right. That's what they say. They don't say, oh, she's pitching to me. What does she want? So I find that the passion just lets people know you're real, as opposed to reading a script or sounding robotic to them.
Exactly. And I do think that's one of the things that really touched me when we talked. And I say touched because it really did. I mean, you spoke to what was important about me, but you were real and you were authentic. And that's so important today. With everything that we're faced with, we need to be authentic and tap into ourselves. When you're talking to your friends, I know that I will often work with people that say to me, oh, no, I don't want to sell to my friends. I don't want to talk to my friends about this opportunity because, it's just not good to mix business and friendship. What are your thoughts about that?
So when people join my team, I always tell them, your friends and family will not be your biggest supporters. Yeah. Now, that's not always true. You will have some friends and some family that will support you, but I do not want you to rely on them. I always explain how to find the outside people first, and your friends and family will come along. Put them
Right.
in the loop. Don't leave them out. You know, you can tell them, hey, I'm starting this great new thing, or I'm going to build this, or we're going to open this. Let them know. Let them feel like they're part of your life, but don't force
Mm-hmm.
them, because
Right.
as friends and family, they already feel obligated and they don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be told and forced. Go to the outside people first, and
Mm-hmm.
then bring your friends and family in on
Right.
some group thing
Okay.
you're doing. And
Right.
now they're like, oh, this is cool. And she's actually
Yeah.
succeeding. Because you never know. They might have been like, it's not gonna. So
Exactly.
don't rely on the friends and family, but don't exclude them either.
Right. It's funny you say that because I had started an endeavor a while back, a couple of years back, and I had reached out to a good friend of mine that I had known my whole life, complete trust. And I said to him, I said, oh, I've got this great opportunity. And it really is still a great opportunity. And he said to me, Melissa, call me back in 6 months. If you're still doing it and it's a success, then we can chat. And so I think you're right on target. Some people just kind of want to sit back and see, wait and see if it's going to fly. Now, when you are going through that sales process, what would you attribute your tips, or do you have anything that you would tell people about how you built the business, your team, and then there's your sales? But was it stressful? What was there, like a methodology that you used? What's your secret?
Stay a student.
Got it.
Stay a student.
Love it.
With my business, you know, like I said, this is my 8th year in the business. I did not build a team. I built a team my first year of a few friends,
Yeah.
and then I let it go. It just wasn't something I wanted to do. And what I love about the Pure Romance business is we are not an MLA. So I'm not forced to have a team ever, and I can
Right.
still make millions of dollars. But with a team, there comes some support, some learning, and you gain something from having a tribe. But
Sure.
our business also educates us, not just on products. Like, they rarely educate us on the product. It's
Mm-hmm.
mostly about mindset and marketing and learning your area and your age group and your demographic, and learning those things helps you stand out. So
Right.
if you're hungry to learn, you know, research other things in your field. See what they're doing and what's working for them, and how you can use that for yourself. And then building that within a team, because your brain knows one thing, their brain knows one thing, your brains together know so much more.
So much more.
So, right, I have a team of 30 something girls now, and that's only been in the last 18 months. It
That's
was when I opened my
wow.
brain and said, why am I not sharing this? And why am I not building this? Because the same way that it's grown for myself and my family, somebody else out there needs that. And when I stopped being selfish in that mindset,
Mm-hmm.
because I was just like, I'm learning all the things for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I have a team, I can understand and not
Mm-hmm.
just learn. So stay a student, constantly learn, constantly absorb, and share it with someone else.
I love that. And what I love best about what you said is share it with someone else, because I really do believe, and I have believed this forever, and I've taught this with my clients, that what you give and what you put out does come back to you, and it comes back to you sometimes exponentially, and it will help you to grow as well as those around you. So really being a servant is truly critical if you're going to be a business owner, I would say. Would you agree with that?
Yes. And what people forget, if you look up the mindset meaning of the word leadership, when people hear leadership, in most brains, they hear dictator. But
Right.
leadership is actually serving.
Right.
If you're not serving, you're not leading.
Right. If you're not serving, you're not leading, and you've got to grow, and there's got to be growth, because times are changing, economy changes, the weather
Oh,
changes, people change, our market changes. And so one last question that it actually came in the chat box, and I want you to address this before we open it up for other questions, but I think it's a really great one. How do you determine what to market? Where do you put your focus on marketing, and what does that look like? Any secrets there, Sophia?
so that's where you look at your core values and your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not know those things about yourself, take some time and look at, if you're not sure, Google what are core values. and go
Absolutely.
through your own mindset and see what's best for you. If you know that it is something that you can market and that you have a strong sense of, or maybe you have a background or history in,
Hmm.
push that and then research it, because who are you marketing to? Are you marketing to the millennials, the baby boomers?
Exactly.
Because the way you market to a 20 something is not the way you market to a 50 something. And then
Exactly.
understand where you're marketing. Are you on social media? Are you doing media print? Are you So that research, that knowledge, once again, comes in, because you need to know how you're going to market it, where your strong suits are, and then to whom you're marketing.
Yeah.
So reach out and figure out what's best for you. You're going to fail. I know nobody wants to hear that. You're going
Mhm.
to fail. You're going to fall on your bum sometimes. And
Yeah.
that's okay, because that falling is teaching you too. It's teaching you what not to do or
Exactly.
how to do it differently.
Exactly. I recently, so talking about learning, I have not been forever a social media queen, nor am I right now, but I'm learning. I'm actually becoming better at my social media presence. And so there's a lot to learn. And so I recently had an experience that I felt was not a success. And I did have to step back and say to myself, okay, well, Melissa, was that something that you really want to spend your time and energy worrying about? Or can you just take your pearls of wisdom and then grow from there? And I think that that's critical as a business owner. When we grow our finances, when we have life decisions to make, we've got to keep that in mind. So I appreciate that. So I'm going to open it up to questions. I've got a couple more that came in. We like to keep our timing very short and succinct. We know that everybody has really busy lives. So I'm gonna take one more question, and then we will kind of bid our farewell. The question that came in is, what is the favorite part of your job?
Oh my gosh.
Is that a
So
trick question? I don't know. I'm almost afraid to ask you, Sophia, what you might say.
it's so funny because when I go live, and I go live, and we have private VIP groups. So
Uh-huh.
if you guys want to be in the VIP group, you can. But in our groups, it's a little more intimate. It's a little more one-on-one. Like on my regular page, I'm a little more business-like.
Hmm. Hmm.
But in the group, it's just really Sophie. So people are always like, "You really love your job, don't you?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, you have no idea." I love it all. And I know like that's a broad statement, but the education is my favorite, because when I get to share with people and tell them about the anatomy of their body, how to have fun with a partner that maybe you've had a stagnant relationship with, how to treat yourself and spoil yourself. Sex care is self-care. And then like teaching them that makes me so giddy and so excited. But then it's the camaraderie with other women. I'm in a house of males,
Yeah.
and I'm a homebody. So I'm always around testosterone.
Yeah.
Being able to go to parties or to chat online with other women, it's amazing. And
Yeah.
then just the knowledge and the growth, and then having my team.
Mhm.
Like I said, I went 5 years with no team, and I was like, I don't need this. Sophie's got Sophie. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love my girls now. They're called the Sirens.
I
So,
love
and
it.
some of
I
them are
love it.
on here.
You make it
So my
fun.
Sirens, yeah. So we get to have fun. We get to chat. There's team events we do. There's world conferences we attend. I get to personally grow. So my mindset has changed. My finances have changed. My home life, my thoughts. It's just like I said, when you do something you love,
Mhm.
you can't help but enjoy it, and that shows in everything you do.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not going to say that every day is wonderful and rainbows and sunshine. There are some days where I'm like, I'm done. But that's when you take
Yeah.
a nap and wake up and you're okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, and I love it. And I think that I think we started out talking about that you love your job, and now we're ending it with you talking about you love everything. And I would say, if I were a betting woman, I would say that that's the reason you are such a success, is that you do love your job. And when I work with people, I often hear them say, well, I'm just trying to make a buck. I just want to get ahead. And I always try to encourage them, look for what you enjoy, even if it's in a job or a career or a business that maybe hasn't taken off. Find the pieces that you do love and expand on that. Because
Yes.
life isn't worth living if you can't have fun and can't enjoy it and find some joy, right?
Well, I'll tell you one thing I have learned, and there were years in this business you guys, Sophie was not always top dog. There were years where I was chasing a dollar
Yeah.
because I had bills to pay, because I had kids to feed, because I had, like I said, I'm disabled. A prosthetic is $250,000.
Right.
So I was chasing a dollar, chasing a dollar. And when you chase the dollar, you lose the sight.
Absolutely. Very,
And
very
that
well
you
said.
can't grow from that. You're not happy. You're stressed. And I'm gonna tell you, your customers know when you're chasing a dollar,
Thank you.
and they will
Yes.
not give you a dollar.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Chase the fun.
Chase
They
the
will
fun.
encourage the fun, and they will spend
Exactly.
with you with the fun. They will encourage. They will tell other people about your business when
Absolutely,
it's
they
fun.
will. Yeah. People
So don't
gravitate
chase
to fun,
dollars.
I think.
Right, manifest
Yeah,
fun.
that's right. Absolutely. All the way. Well, listen, I think you've given us a lot of really great information. What I want to do is I want to give people the opportunity to reach out to you. It's on our Facebook ads, Instagram, but it's SophiaPureRomance.com. Is that right? Sophia Pure
Sophia with an
Romance.
F.
Okay. Okay. Sophia with an F.
S-O-F-I.
You're wrong, and we'll put some stuff out on Facebook afterwards. But for those of you that are tuning in just via Zoom, be sure to reach out to her, attend one of her parties. I have been really excited. As a matter of fact, Sophie, I was talking to someone today about possibly having a party with you. So I'm excited. The other thing I'll tell you is every Wednesday night, so for those of you who have tuned in, every Wednesday night we have a What's Next Wednesday. And the purpose is for us to collectively come together as a tribe to find some synergies, to help one another, to grow and become better people and to have fun. So thank you for joining us. You can find me on Instagram at Melissa iCoach. Also in our amplifier group if you're watching there, or on my business page, which is 80/20. So look forward to talking to you next Wednesday, and have a wonderful rest of your evening, afternoon, wherever you are, and we'll talk soon. Bye now.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.